Hello there. We're at day 18 of our Old Testament passage, and here begins the story of Joseph. And many of us know the beginning of this story if we've seen the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. And Joseph is the youngest son at this point. There's a little baby, Benjamin, but he's not in the picture just yet. At this point, Joseph is the youngest, and his older brothers are jealous of him. And Joseph is his father's favourite. And it's all, again, like a soap opera. And what we see here again is another example of a dysfunctional family. It just wasn't working properly. And to cut a long story short, Jacob's other sons, Joseph's brothers, they see Joseph coming to the fields to them in his amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And they're so jealous, they're so angry with him because of the way he's treated them, the way he's told on them to their father, that they decide to kill him. But actually what they do is they end up selling him as good as dead, as into slavery. And this seems a tragic story. This seems the end of Joseph's life. And Joseph had had dreams about how God was going to use him, about how God was going to make him above his brothers. And the dreams were from God, but Joseph, I think, misinterpreted the dreams. Because in his interpretation, he said, the dreams are all about me. You're all going to bow down in front of me, and I'm going to rise up, and I'm going to be important, and I'm going to be big. And you're all going to serve me. Now, any self-respecting older brothers, when they heard that, they'd do what these guys did. They'd sell him into slavery. And that's what they did. And again, you think that Joseph's life has come to naught. Jacob is in mourning again because of the dysfunctions of the family. And we're going to read in the next passages how Joseph goes through 13 years of hell. And yet, in the midst of his lowest point, at the time that he's sold into slavery, at the time that he's betrayed, when all the dysfunctions in the family seem to be at their worst, we know that God is at work behind the scenes, and God is going to turn it round, and God is going to make it right, and God is going to do a miracle in these human relationships, but it's not going to be without pain. And even in this story, there's a whisper of Jesus, because Joseph is a type of Jesus. His brothers sold him, and they sold him for silver, just like Judas sold him years later, sold Jesus years later in the same way. There's a story of redemption in the midst of this story of brokenness. Let's continue into that story.